be it the vibrant nightlife or breathtaking natural beauty or glimpses into its rich history, Vietnam has got something to offer for everybody. My name is Abhinav Salla, and in today's video, I will help you plan your travel to Vietnam. We're going to talk about everything right from budgeting, how to get your visa, places to visit, as well as some must-have experiences from what I have experienced in Vietnam. So without wasting more time, let's get started, shall we? Now let's talk about how to get your visa. In order for Indians to travel to Vietnam, we require an e-visa. You can apply for it online on their website. I'll try to link it down below if I find it. I booked mine through a travel agent. Normally the e-visa costs around 3,000 rupees, and because I went through a travel agent, it costed me around 3,500. To get your e-visa, you need to have pre-booked flight tickets from India to Vietnam and from Vietnam to India. When you're booking your flight tickets, make sure to either land in Hanoi and depart from Ho Chi Minh City, or land in Ho Chi Minh City and depart from Hanoi, because Vietnam as a country can be divided into three parts: North Vietnam, Central Vietnam and South Vietnam. And ideally, you can maximize the amount of time you spend in the country by landing in North, departing from South, or landing in South and departing from the North. Flight tickets on an average cost around 25 to 30,000 rupees. So keep that in mind while you're booking your tickets. So after you book your flight tickets, make sure to go to your local currency exchange and get your rupees exchanged for dollars, because it is difficult to find currency exchanges where they convert Indian rupees into Vietnamese dong. And even if you find them in Vietnam, it is you're going to get a really bad rate. A ref currency exchange rate that was in my mind was every 1,000 Vietnamese dong is 3.5 rupees. And most of the pricing that you're going to see in Vietnam are going to be in 1,000 Vietnamese dong. So for example, there's going to be a water bottle for 20,000 Vietnamese dong. So you got to convert it back to Indian currency. So always keep that in mind. 1,000 Vietnamese dong is 3.5 rupees. I would advise you to start your trip from Hanoi. Hanoi is the largest city of Vietnam as well as the capital of Vietnam. And as soon as you land at the airport, there will be these kiosks just before immigration where they'll be selling you SIM cards. These SIM cards cost around 800 rupees. They give you unlimited local calls as well as unlimited data. So that's something that is a must-have in our social media generation, to be honest. So 800 rupees spent there. After that, as soon as you go out of the airport, make sure to download the Grab app. Grab app is like Uber for Vietnam. So whatever cab you want to book, you can book on Grab. You can even book bikes like Ola bike in India. You have Grab bikes over there, and these are pretty reasonable rates. In Hanoi, you can find stays for as less as 3,000 to 5,000 rupees a night, and these are going to be really comfortable stays. So I would advise you to go for a hotel at that price point. Once you're in Hanoi, you can spend 1 or 2 days exploring the city. Hanoi has got this area called as the Old Quarter. It has got around 40 streets, and each and every street is pretty unique. For example, there is a street called as the Train Street, wherein a train track passes through the street, and on both sides of the train track there are these cafes, cute cafes. So it's a pretty unique experience to have. Or you could go to Pub Street. This street has, as the name suggests, pubs in it which are open all night long. So if you're somebody who wants to party all night, that is the street to go. Our second destination in Vietnam is Halong Bay. You can book Halong Bay cruise ship packages from Hanoi itself. There are a lot of these travel agents. So you can just walk into a travel agent store and ask him that you want to book a trip to Halong Bay. It usually costs around $120 to $160 a night. We booked a 1 night, 2 day trip to Halong Bay. And honestly, it was money well spent. They're going to pick you up from your hotel, take you to Halong Bay, and you will be on board a cruise ship. The rooms are spacious, the bathrooms are clean, and you get the view of waves crashing into limestone hills from your room itself. Honestly, I was just sitting there looking at the waves crash into the limestone hills for hours together. It is so soothing, and I really enjoyed it. While you're on the cruise ship, they also offer you free breakfast, a lunch buffet, as well as a 4-course meal for dinner. They also offer kayaking services for free. So if you want to kayak around, you can just ask the guy, or they're going to inform you obviously. So you can just do kayaking around your cruise ship, surrounded by lakes and loneliness, emptiness. This is splendid. Like, this is a must-have experience. And honestly, this was the highlight of my Vietnam trip. Once you're done kayaking, you're back at your hotel. I'm back at the cruise ship, sorry. They're going to take you back to your hotel in Hanoi. Once you're back in Hanoi, I would advise you to book the trip to Ninh Binh. Ninh Binh is the third place I would recommend in this trip. Once you book the tour, they're going to pick you up from your hotel, just like a Halong Bay. They're going to pick you up from your hotel, take you to Ninh Binh. They're going to give you a guided tour of the Buddhist temples, which were built in 10th century AD. And then they're going to take you to Tarang Lake. Tarang Lake can be described as a Halong Bay, but on land. So there's this lake surrounded by huge limestone hills, and you are going to be on a boat. They're going to paddle the boat through these hills. There are these small openings at the bottom of these hills, and they're going to take you through them. And honestly, surrounded by nature, just gazing at nature all day long, if that's your vibe, this is a must-have experience. After that, they're going to take you to a hilltop temple. If you wish to walk on top of the temple, you can get a view of the natural valleys of Vietnam. If you are already burnt out, like you don't have energy left, you can just chill at the bottom of the temple, but I would recommend going on top and getting that view. While I was climbing up, I saw a lot of Indians coming there and complaining, why the fuck are we climbing? But honestly guys, that's a mindset. If you love adventure, if you like trekking, you should climb up that temple. Once you're done with Ninh Binh, I would recommend that you book a flight from Hanoi to Nha Trang. Flight prices are around 6,000 to 8,000 rupees from Hanoi to Nha Trang. If you can find it for cheaper, you're in luck. Nha Trang is our fourth destination in this Vietnam trip. Nha Trang can be described as Goa of Vietnam because it's a coastal city. It's got these beaches all around. You can opt for a guided tour as usual, as I mentioned before. Guided tours cost around $40 when we went. We opted for a 3-island guided tour. The first place that they took us to was this beach island. So the island had nothing but a beach and a small shack over there. But to be honest, it was a worthwhile experience because the beach was clear, like you could see the turquoise water, you could see the white sandy beach and nothing else. It was amazing. You can also try out water sports here such as parasailing or jet skiing if that interests you, or the banana boat. Those will be available at an additional cost of around $40. Then you are taken to a restaurant, a floating restaurant, which is the second island, wherein you'll be served your lunch. Lunch usually consists of pho, a traditional Vietnamese soup, noodle, broth, I don't know how to describe it. And after you're done with your lunch, they're going to take you to another island, which is actually a resort. This island has something very unique, that is mud bath. They're going to give you a bathtub, fill it up with hot mud and ask you to step inside it. Honestly, I was scared, but once I stepped inside it, it was so relaxing. After, spending a lot of time by the beach in the hot sun, taking that mud bath was completely worth it. Once you're done with the mud bath, you can just go by the pool and just relax in the pool itself. And then they're going to take you back from there on a speedboat back to the shore and take you back to the hotel. So you can ideally spend 1.5 days in Nha Trang, depending on your time constraints. And I would advise you to book a cab from Nha Trang to Dalat. Dalat is a hill station in Vietnam, in South Vietnam. The cab costs you around $60 from Nha Trang to Dalat. The cab ride from Nha Trang to Dalat is very scenic. In Dalat, the hotels cost around 3,000 to 4,000 rupees for 4 occupants. Okay? Once you're in Dalat, plan an canyoneering adventure trip. Locally, there are these Highland Adventure Club. I'm going to link it down below. They host these canyoneering trips. Honestly, that was a spectacular experience. I've never thought that I'd jump off a cliff or zip line through a waterfall, or forget about all that. I literally held a bungee cord and went down a waterfall. So if you're into rappelling, adventure sports or trekking, Highland Adventure Club Dalat Waterfall Canyoneering trip is highly recommended. Dalat also has an airport, so you can fly from Dalat to Ho Chi Minh City. Once you're in Ho Chi Minh City, make sure to book a service apartment. They cost around 5,000 to 6,000 rupees a night, but they are in these skyscrapers with a view of the city. Ours costed around 6,500 a night, and we had a view of Ho Chi Minh City from there, these tall buildings, and it gives you a perspective of other countries, how they are. These are your last 2 days. So the first day, book a one-day trip for Chu Chi Tunnels and Mekong Delta. I couldn't go to Mekong Delta because we had a time constraint, but if you plan a guided tour, make sure to include these two. They offer one-day trip for both destinations in the same package. Chu Chi Tunnels is a historical place because that was where the Vietnamese soldiers hid when they were fighting against America during the Vietnam War. So they have these tiny tunnels through which you can go through, and they also have like all the traps and stuff that the Vietnamese used against Americans during that time. After that, you can go to Mekong Delta, which is going to be similar to Ninh Binh from what I heard, but I'm not sure. Once you're done with Chu Chi Tunnels and Mekong Delta tour, come back to your hotel, change of clothes, go to Bui Vien Street. Bui Vien Street is the party street, and since this is going to be our last night in Vietnam according to our 9-day itinerary, go there and party all night long. It's got these amazing pubs on both sides, loud music. You can just spend a whole night there partying. Next day you wake up, it's going to be a last day, go for shopping. Ho Chi Minh has got amazing streetwear that you can get. Some of this, I think I got this in Vietnam itself. So that was my 9-day itinerary of Vietnam, guys. So if you're planning a trip to Vietnam, I hope this video was helpful, and it costed me around 80,000 rupees. So if you're planning an international trip and you have a budget of 80,000 rupees, here was the 9-day itinerary that I followed. You can make your own changes if you'd like to. Anyways, if you're new to the channel and you've watched this video so far, why can't you subscribe? Just click on that subscribe button. I'll be bringing you more such content pretty soon, and make sure to click that like button. That really motivates me to put out more such videos. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.